Hello and welcome to an experimental F1 22 career mode format episode. We're at Austria Season 3 Round 11, and for this episode, because it's a sprint weekend, we're experimenting with separating qualifying and sprint from the main race itself. So the main race will be a separate upload. Guys, if you want me to resume doing it in this format, let me know. However, if you want me to revert back to putting the whole weekend together, again, let me know. I would love feedback on this. Right, we're qualifying. It's a very damp Austrian Grand Prix qualifying. But here we are trying to get through Q1, and our lap was good enough for P3, but it was 8 tenths off of the pace of Verstappen. And I definitely feel like there's a faster lap in there, and in fact there was a faster lap in there because we've gone 3 tenths quicker, and that would be enough for Q1. Q2, however, very, very wet. It's raining very heavily now, so we're trying to get as many laps in as we can and hopefully get ourselves a strong grid position. That's a little bit wide there, but I'm pushing as hard as the conditions will allow me to. Obviously, one slip and round it goes, so it's a case of treading carefully, but at the same time trying to get as fast a lap as possible. These conditions are so treacherous, and we're now heading round the penultimate corner. We've gone out a bit wide there, hitting the apex for the final corner though. What's it gonna put us on? Norris does a 15.1, we've done a 15.2. And I did think there was a faster lap in there, but when we got to the pits, we had rear diffuser damage which needed fixing. Must have clobbered a curb too hard. But when we got back out, the conditions had dried up a bit. And now we need to rush out on inters with 1:55 to go. Are we going to be able to make the flying lap? Here we are now, pushing the car around, trying to make it. And it looks as though we might just miss out. And we're going to end up down the field in qualifying. 5 seconds to go. We've missed it. We are going to be out at Q2. Wow. P16 is where we will be starting this sprint race from. Luckily for us, it is a sprint weekend, and we can use the sprint race to advance ourselves forward. But wow. That really has cost us here. The change in weather really catching us out last minute. But what can we do in the sprint?
Forget pit stops, forget fuel management. It's pedal to the metal all the way here as we get ready for today's sprint. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. Fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole. And Oscar Piastri completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Magnussen, Norris, Carlos Sainz, and Hamilton. Verstappen, Perez, Albon, and Pierre Gasly. Ticktum, Drugovich, Sebastian Vettel, and Tsunoda. Ocon, Joker, Lance Stroll, and Nicholas Latifi. Joe, Mick Schumacher, Schwartzman, and Jehan Daruvala. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We will soon find out. Here we go then, the formation lap is underway ahead of today's sprint. As all the cars take their positions on the grid, the final preparations have been made, and all that's left is for the drivers to deliver on track.
Just 12 laps ahead of us in this sprint race then. What can we do about our grid position? We definitely need to improve upon P16, that's for sure. Hopefully in this race I can get myself into the top 10 and get myself a better grid start for the main event. The other critical thing to mention is our championship nemesis, Charles Leclerc, is starting first, so we really need to advance as far up as possible in this sprint to give us the best chance for the race, but it's lights out and away we go. Charles Leclerc gets away well, but look at Oscar Piastri. Side by side with him, he's going to have a look down the inside, but Leclerc sweeping round and taking the lead. Piastri in second, Magnussen losing a place to Hamilton there. He might want to try and get that back. Also, the two Red Bulls getting very close. How's this going to sort itself out? We've got the two Red Bulls closing in. Hamilton trying to go down the inside of... Sorry, that might be... No, that Sainz going down the inside of Magnussen, I do beg your pardon. Hamilton's in P3 fighting with Lando Norris. We're on board with Alex Albon in P9. And Hamilton, does he get ahead of Norris, or is Norris able to hold it? I think Norris holds on to P3 there. Right, what's happening here? It's our POV, it's lights out and away we go. And I get a decent-ish start, but Latifi is going to sieve up my inside here. We're going to try and hold a middle line. We give Lance Stroll a little bit of a nudge wide, but we've lost the place, which is something we really don't want to be doing. We want to be making as many inroads as we can. I'm heading for the inside now into turn 3, and I think this is going to be contact. Yes, it is. Latifi turning the corner as we went in too tight. We've made a nudge, and there is very slight front wing damage, so we're going to have to just try and race with that for now as we try and make our way past Lance Stroll, who has now just lightly tapped the rear of Mick Schumacher, and I think that might be damage for Lance. Right, down the inside, trying to hold the position. Stroll turning in on us there as I understeer a little bit. But yeah, this has been a messy start for us as we're now down into P18. But I'm going to clear Mick Schumacher as soon as possible. I have cleared Mick Schumacher. Right, up next, Latifi in P16. What can we do about the Alpine driver? Leclerc is leading the way, setting the fastest lap as he does so. But I'm trying to find a way past Latifi and Ocon, both of which are battling, which is not what I need. And Ocon going very slow out the corner. I've been caught out trying to find a way past the pair of them, and that's now more front wing damage for me. That's more front wing damage, so now we're really going to struggle as I try and go down the inside of the pair of them. And that is contact as we all go in very tightly there. And both of them have the momentum out of the corner to see me off. But I'm going to try and get down the inside of both of them here again. This time getting it done, but we've gone out a little bit deep. However, my front wing over the next couple of corners felt so bad, I decided enough was enough. Let's just pit in and just take, you know, we were only going to end up trying to fight off the guys behind us with the damage we had, and I was really struggling with it. So take on a new front wing and see if we can make anything up on soft tyres. Hope for a safety car, because you never know. If we get a safety car, it'd give us a good chance to attack. Speaking of attacking, here's Carlos Sainz having a look at Hamilton, who's having a look at Magnussen. So Magnussen has got back past Hamilton, and now they're side by side, and Sainz is now going side by side with Magnussen. And where Hamilton was compromised out of turn 3, Carlos Sainz just simply says, thank you very much, I will relieve you of that position. But now look at how close the battle for the lead is. It's Leclerc, Piastri and Norris, the three of them all together, and they are clearing the field. And I think Piastri's getting very close to Leclerc. Piastri ever so close to Leclerc. Is he going to have a look? Our teammate fighting for his seat here. Is he going to have a look at Leclerc? Not quite into one. Norris right behind. And here comes Piastri now. Is Oscar Piastri going to make a move on Charles Leclerc here? Round the outside our teammate goes. Is he going to be able to make that stick? He just about... I can't see what's happening. They're still side by side. Leclerc has the drag advantage, but Piastri has the DRS. Round the outside he goes. Is he going to make this work? They bang wheels. They're still side by side. Piastri now having the inside for the left-hander. And Norris is just watching this. Probably low-key hoping it goes wrong and he can nip a sprint race win. But Oscar Piastri takes the lead of the sprint race here in Austria. Oh, the scenes. Meanwhile, I'm trying to get by Robert Schwartzman for P18, and Zhou Guanyu is out of the race. Zhou Guanyu dropping out. This is what happened to him. Just a standard engine failure. That's rotten luck for Zhou Guanyu, who will now be starting right at the back for the feature race. But look at this. Oscar Piastri leading the way. He made a mistake. He's gone deep. And Leclerc has gone through, and so has Norris. Oh, Oscar. Oh, mate. No, that's not what we needed you to do at all. Meanwhile, Kevin Magnussen has blown up there. And that might be the nail in the coffin for Oscar Piastri's stint with us at Joe H2O. Meanwhile, down the inside of Schwartzman, I take the dive, and it looks like we're going to gain P18 there. We have gained P18. Warning collision. Rubbish. I didn't touch him. I did not touch him. Stop being so fragile. Honestly. We're now up into P17. Obviously at the hands of Magnussen's failure. I'm making sure there's no further damage to the car. But I think that's as far as we're going to get, with Ocon being 2.5 seconds up the road, catching him in one lap. Even though we've got the fastest and top car in the performance index, I think catching Ocon is going to be a stretch too far here. And Leclerc has taken the win. I really could have done with Oscar winning that and not making the mistake, not just in terms of the Drivers' Championship for us, but in the Constructors as well. That's frustrating, and that's a frustrating sprint race for us. Yeah, not much more I can say really on that. Latifi getting driver of the day. Go on, Latifi. But it was just a sprint race to forget. So let's have a look at the results then once I collect my tier points, which for whatever reason I'm taking way too long to do. I think I'm just burying my head in my hands, but there you go. Leclerc wins, Norris gets second, so Ferrari maximum points from the sprint race, and Piastri, who had the win in his grasp, locked up, went wide and made a mistake, and quite a costly mistake too. Sainz and Hamilton 4th and 5th, Verstappen and Perez 6th and 7th, and Alex Albon grabbing 8th and the final point in the sprint race. A strong sprint race for Felipe Drugovich in 12th. And so after retaking the lead in Silverstone, we have re-lost it to Leclerc as a result of that sprint race. But there's a feature race ahead of us, guys. Join me again for the feature race. Thank you so much for watching.